Okay, so I'm here with Dr. Linda Cendales. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I focus on an area in transplantation, which is basically the transplantation of any tissues that have more than one tissue as a functional unit. So it could have skin, muscle, bone, nerve, and it's vascularized composite allotransplantation, which is probably the youngest area in transplantation.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, probably not the youngest, because probably xeno would be sort of the latest. But yeah, vascularized composite allotransplantation, which is a transplantation of a functional unit.
Yeah, and it wasn't until 2014 when VCA became classified as an organ in the United States.
That's exactly right.
Right?
Yeah, it became under the definition of organ transplantation, and therefore under the oversight, just similar to any solid organ transplant. So basically it's another solid organ transplant.
And that's been at least 10 years in the United States. What about around the world? Is that the same?
Yeah, it varies per country, but I think for the most part, in most countries where this is being done, it is considered an organ transplant, and it's sort of treated as such.
About how many VCA transplants happen around the world?
Yeah, it's a very low volume and high risk, as you know. We were looking at the numbers a little closer. Like in the United States, as of December of 2024, there have been 20 phases and 38 recipients from hand transplantation. And the programs active oscillate between 10 or so for each of those types. But of course, as you know, VCA is much more than face and hand. Is also uterus, abdominal wall, larynx, and recently, as you know, a bladder was performed as well. So that it covers sort of the same field.
And I would imagine that's a very specialized surgical procedure. So there's not many places around the world or the country, even in the United States, that you can do VCA transplants. And you're one of those places. Can you tell me a little bit about what you do for VCA?
Yeah, so our program at Duke, it's very comprehensive, similar to other programs, but you are correct. In fact, we looked at closer at this in a recent report with the National Academies, and one of the recommendations was that because of the nature of the multidisciplinary and complexity and stage in the development, these procedures, our recommendation was to be done at centers that not only have all these complexities in place, but also a commitment for a long life care of the patients and the caregivers. So that's one of the recommendations. And they are not, you are correct, there are not many places. So we probably envision, or I envision, that is going to be performed or continue to be performed at a few centers, referral centers or centers of excellence, to also continue maturing the field, right? There are so many unknowns still that to continue maturing it would be helpful, right, to collect standardized data in these places.
So you're a member of the National Academies of Medicine. You said something about NASM. What's that?
So the National Academies in the United States, as you know, was chartered in 1863, and it was signed by Abraham Lincoln. And the goal is to provide independent, objective advice and recommendations when called upon to do so. And this was one example. Of course, the National Academies has performed, as you know, reports in transplantation, several of them. And probably the latest is the one that provided a framework for hand and face transplantation moving forward, which it was just released in March of 2025. And I was fortunate to be with a panel of experts and a esteemed chair who worked for a little bit over a year and made recommendations as a framework for the field moving forward.
And so that's available online? People can review that report?
Yes, it's available online. Just go to the National Academy's website and can be downloaded just like any other report.
What did it mean to you to participate in something like that?
It's very meaningful because not only sharing the expertise of such a diverse group of experts in the panel coming from the many different angles, but also looking at how could we help and how could we support, and importantly, what's the evidence? What is the evidence, and how can we sort of based on evidence continue maturing this field for where we want to see it, right? Transforming lives in a safe way with good outcomes. But like any other field, it has stages and it has phases, and we have learned that from transplantation, and we have built on the lessons of transplantation to get where we are.
So what do you see the future for VCA transplant in the world?
So many countries are doing very exciting things, as well as in the United States. It's a very exciting area. It has tremendous potential to contribute to science and to other fields like psychosocial, neurosciences. So in addition to developing the applications of the VCA type, I also see that there's a lot of opportunity to pair these with other fields that we can support answering questions that cannot be answered in their own fields because they don't have the setting, right? Like neurosciences, for example, or many others that it has some specificities. I think it's a transplant patient, and transplantation, it has a immunological response, which there's no reason to believe that it's any different, but it has some specificities. The visual part of it, the nerve recovery for function, which is different than other settings. So there's a lot of exciting areas that we can develop and also pair and collaborate with other fields.
Fantastic. I want to switch gears just for a moment to ask you a little bit about your work sponsoring and mentoring women in transplantation. Can you tell me a little bit about your work there?
Yeah, it's a great area. As you know, it's probably, as I see it, is one of the most important things we do in our careers. There's just so much talent and the ability not only to mentor but support and sponsor in many different ways. It's just a pleasure to also help develop what they want to do and just help in any way we can to make their dreams become real. It's exciting, and I think as we succeed as much as the people around us, and we help succeed. And as I say, no one succeeds alone, and just to be able to be in a position to help and to pay forward, it's is rewarding and it's delightful.
Fantastic. So what advice would you give the next generation of transplanters that are interested in our space?
Yeah, so first of all, things that have worked for me in my career, it's be true to yourself. Really, what you love, just find it and just be true to it. Create a specialty that doesn't exist yet. Be innovative and think and just create something that doesn't exist yet.
That's good advice.
Yeah, and something that has also worked for me is, lose all sense of entitlement. Work hard. There's no way around that, and everything comes with it. Everything, just work for what you believe, and there many other things will just fall in place.
Fantastic. One last question for you. How has it been to be with your colleagues around the world at the World Transplant Congress for the first time in 10 years?
It's fantastic. It's just seeing the people that you haven't seen for so long. It's one of the best parts of the meeting as well. Yeah. And this meeting has brought, over 4,000 people from around the world. And so it's not only delightful to see them and to catch up and celebrate their accomplishments, but also make new friends. And so you come here looking forward to seeing all your friends, and you go back home with even more friends than when you came. And it's just... It's wonderful.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you speaking with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.